Who is the Phantom Stranger? He first appeared in The Phantom Stranger 1. The Phantom Stranger has one of the most mysterious origins of all time. While his origin is still considered a mystery, this is what is known of his story. Our story begins during ancient biblical events. There was a man named Isaac. He had a wife and son. This family lived a peaceful life in Bethlehem. Sometime later, the king had heard of a newborn child born from a miracle. This child was thought to be the King of Kings, and his name was Jesus. The king was furious from this news, so he ordered the execution of all of the male infants in the country. As the king's soldiers began to invade nearby cities, Isaac and his family fled from their home. As they were leaving, they were seized by soldiers. They forcefully grabbed his son from his wife's arms and killed the child. As his wife attempted to flee from their grasp, they killed her too. Isaac's family was murdered in front of him, and this would forever haunt him. For an unknown reason, Isaac had changed his name to Judas Iscariot and left Bethlehem. 3 decades later, Jesus had reappeared. Jesus was now an adult, and had begun to perform miracles. Word of his miracles had spread, and so did his reputation as a Messiah. Jesus soon gathered disciples, and Judas joined his cause. Judas grew very close to Jesus, and helped spread the word of his miracles. Although Judas secretly resented Jesus and blamed him for the death of his family, had the king's soldiers not been looking for Jesus, then his family would still be alive. Sometime later, word of Jesus' teachings spread to the authorities of the region. The teachings of Jesus defied the laws of Jewish faith and Roman law. He was considered a threat to society, so it was ordered that he was found and executed. Later, Judas betrayed Jesus by giving the authorities his location for 30 silver pieces. Sometime after, Jesus had gathered his 12 disciples for supper. Jesus explained to his disciples that this was his last supper with them, and knew that one of them would betray him. The disciples were horrified by this news and did not understand what Jesus had meant. After the feast, Judas kisses Jesus on the cheek. Then Jesus mysteriously explains that he knew of his betrayal. Soldiers then took Jesus, and he was crucified on a cross. Judas then realized what his greed had caused, and he was overcome by guilt. He then fled into the desert and committed suicide. After his death, Judas had found himself bound in a strange chamber. He then hears a voice, and is summoned to face the Council of Wizards. The Council of Wizards were responsible for passing judgment upon those who disrupted the cosmic order of the world. There were two others alongside him, and the wizards called them all the Trinity of Sin, the world's most egregious sinners. Though he felt he deserved his fate, he begged for forgiveness. One of the wizards then created a pendant with 30 pieces of silver and confined it to Judas. Then he was teleported out of the chamber. He awoke in a place named the Field of Blood. This is where he had killed himself, although now he was alive again. He called out with confusion at his resurrection, wishing he was just killed. Then a voice from above spoke to him, urging him to put on the robe that lay nearby to complete his punishment.
Sinner, your ultimate fate awaits. The robe, put it on.
When he put on the robe, he realized that it was the robe of Jesus. From the moment he put it on, his eyes were transformed white, and he now bared a haunting appearance. He is soon stopped by some villagers, and they question him about his appearance and who he was. He was perplexed, so he responds that he is just a stranger, and continues on. The voice then spoke to him and explained that his penance is to wander the earth to pay for the debt of his sins. He thought that this voice was one of the wizards, and he began to listen to the commands. For centuries, he would travel the earth with his new mystical powers and do whatever the voice would command. The stranger would eventually learn that this unknown voice was not one of the wizards, it was the creator of the universe. The creator would summon him to stop those who were in danger of corrupting the cosmic order. Even though he is not always physically seen, he has played a role in the creation and guidance of many heroes. Through his rare and haunting appearances, he became known as the Phantom Stranger. Throughout history, the Phantom Stranger's accomplishments would cause pieces of the silver pendant to fall away. This signified the payment of his sins, which have seemed nearly impossible to repay. In over a millennium, his works have only freed a couple of the coins from his pendant. The Phantom Stranger has one of the most important roles in maintaining the cosmic order, and is one of the most powerful beings in the universe. As mysterious as his origins are, so too is his power. The Phantom Stranger is known to have an unlimited knowledge and a massive amount of cosmic power. It has been suggested that he cannot be killed, as his presence is protected by the universe itself. Please like this video and subscribe for more unknown comic origins.